Hi there. Welcome to Within Living's YouTube channel. My name is Lois, and I'm happy that you're here. Here we talk about all things spirituality, but with a focus on consciousness, living in a conscious state of being. And what is that? That is actually going back within ourselves, connecting to and living in a harmonious alignment with who we were truly created to be, our true divine nature, or God's self. You see, consciousness is God. Consciousness is the source of all things, in which all things live and exist. There's nothing that can be apart from consciousness. And so, to live in consciousness of being is simply going back and harmonizing with who we were made to be, having been created in the image and the likeness of the Creator. So again, I'm glad you're here. Thanks for coming. And if this content resonates with you, I bring it to you with the intention to help you to see how magnificently you were created to be, just how amazingly powerful you really are. And when you understand and identify with your true self, not the self of the egoic man, but the self of the spiritual man, your divine nature, your true authentic self, then when you go back and become in harmony with that self, all things are possible. That's the place from which miracles flow. And yes, what we call miracles, they're not to be a one-off. They're actually intended to be a way of life. Once we understand how the laws of life work, who we really are at our existence, and we come in harmony with the universal laws or the laws that govern life. So that's what our conversation is about here. If it resonates with you, I'd really love it if you'd go ahead and join us. Won't you please subscribe right there? Hit the ring bell button so you'll be notified every time I upload a video. And help us to grow. Go ahead and like, share this conversation, invite others to come and join us on this. Okay, so let's get into today's conversation. And today I want to do part 2, a follow-up from last week's conversation, where we started talking about why was it important to change self first before manifesting things, right? We want to manifest the change of self first, opposed to the trinkets, the things. This was in response to several comments I received from my blog in response to an article that's posted on my blog. And you might want to visit the blog. There's tons of content there. You'll find it at WithinLiving.com. But to pick up on the conversation, I want to take it up today from the standpoint, really going back to consciousness, understanding who consciousness is. And then when we understand who consciousness is, we're better able to understand who we really are. And then why it is important to go back and change our identification of self first. Okay, so consciousness, as we mentioned in the last conversation, consciousness is the source of all things. Consciousness is who I call God. Most of us call it God, although some people call it the Christ, the Holy Spirit, the Spirit, Yeshua, Yahweh, Allah, the universe. I mean, just we've created many names for it, but it doesn't matter what we've called it. What's really interesting is that this source of all things named itself. And when it named itself, I believe it's in the book of Deuteronomy in the scriptures, it named itself as, if not Deuteronomy, maybe Exodus. Not quite sure, but one of those two. But when it named itself as I am. I am. And I am simply means I am it. I'm all there is. There's nothing else. Everything exists within me. I am everything. There's nothing that can exist separate or apart from me. I just simply am the source and the substance of all existence. I am. That's the creative aspect of us. That's the creative source of all existence. That's who some of us call God, or the universe, or the Christ, or whatever we call it. That is the source. I am. But what I find interesting in that is the source went on to not only name itself, to identify itself with all existence, but it went on to identify itself with all of us. And it went on to say, when properly translated, I am that I am. That I am, when correctly translated, means I am to you whatever you choose consciously for me to be. I am the consciousness of all things. So whatever, whoever you choose consciously in your consciousness, in other words, or in your soul, for me to be to you, I am that to you. Because you see, I am the source of all things. Is not only the giver of the gifts that we might petition for, we might desire to have, we might decree to have, but it is the very substance of the thing itself. So we might say God is the giver, but God is also actually the gift. So when we understand this, and we understand that God becomes to us whatever we choose for God to become to us. And that is whether we're choosing it consciously or subconsciously. Because you see, we have the birthright, free gift of the choice to choose. It is our divine right. You and I are so blessed and so empowered with this free gift of the right to choose. We get to choose what we'll have. What we don't get to choose is how it will come about. But we do get to choose what we'll have. So when the desire comes, whatever that desire is that comes, we have the birthright to choose to say, yes, I'll have it, or no, I won't. And when we say yes, we'll have it, all we really have to do at that point in time is to surrender to it, to yield to it, which is to yield to the God presence of us. So going back to consciousness, everything exists in consciousness. You and I and everything in creation is a part of consciousness. We're all in this consciousness. We come out from, we're projected out from this consciousness. And then we've been given the free will then to choose what we will have. When we go back to the self is the very breath of life. It is the existence of you and I. It is not the female you're looking at or the male. It is not whatever. It simply is energy. It's energy, it's intelligence, it's what we call the spirit. You can't see it with your physical eyes, no. But you can discern it when you've learned to still the mind, the logical reasoning mind, and go within you and connect, because you are a part of this very source, this thing called life. You're one with it. You can't ever be separated from it. Everything that you are is of it. So when we know that and we understand that, and we know that we've been created in the image and the likeness of the one who created us, that's not the physical form. No, that is the soul of us, or the spirit of us. So if we've been created in the image, looking like, and the likeness, the characteristics or nature, then we know that all that the Creator is, we are. We're one with it. Absolutely one with it. So if we're one with it, our true identity then is that of the soul, not of the physical man. The physical man is the creation of the ego. It has formed the personality that it thinks it wants to be. And on occasion, that may be multiple personalities. But when we truly go back then to change self, why do we want to change self? And how do we change self? We might have thought, having aligned more with the egoic man, that I am limitless, I am helpless, I've been victimized, I'm a victim, I'm without support, I've been rejected, I've been abandoned, therefore I'm not loved. I need love, I need money, I need comfort, I need companionship, I need. Okay, that's coming from a place of lack and limitation. That's coming from the egoic man. Because you see, the ego, which each of us have, it forms the persona or personality of who we allow it to be. And that is whether we allow it consciously or subconsciously. It is taken form, whether we're in charge of it or not. So the ego is always in opposition to the spirit, the soul of us. Because the ego knows it is not eternal. It can't be forever. When we check out from this part of the journey, we transition, the ego is done. The soul goes on. And because the ego knows that it is limited, it's always vying for that position of power. That's how it gets its power. The ego also, it holds memory, just as the subconscious mind, which is the soul, does. Your soul and my soul has every single memory from conception and even before conception recorded in it. Every experience, every word, everything we've ever seen, everything we've ever heard, whether we're consciously aware of hearing them or not, or seeing them or not, it has recorded them. The ego will record experiences that we've had. And then it will look through the records and say, oh, we've always done this, or we've always done that, or we've always had this, or we've always had that. No, you've never had this before. You've never had that before, so no, I can't allow you to have that. When we understand then that we are the soul and we're not the ego, then what we do is we shift in our identity. That is what's called self-concept. What is your concept of yourself? I really would like for you to really seriously think about that. And maybe throughout this week, if you could take some time, it doesn't have to be a lot of time each time, but maybe every day or every couple of days, carve you out some time and really sit and contemplate, write out honestly. You're only dealing with yourself. So write out honestly, what is your perspective of yourself in just about every area of your life? Who do you see yourself as? Who do you identify as? Who do you identify as Who are you, first and foremost? Who are you? Who do you identify as? And then how do you identify or see yourself financially in terms of abundance, in relationships, in success, in life? Who are you and how do you identify? So when we take a look at that and we are honest with who we've been identifying with, 9 out of 10 times we will realize that we are so far off in our identity than in who we were really created to be. So if life circumstances, let's say, have been giving us the experiences of lack, then we see ourselves as one who, I'm not one of those people, the abundant people. I'm always struggling. Life is hard. It's an uphill battle. I have to earn, really work for, earn my keep. If I can stop seeing that, those are the experiences I've been having. But if I can stop seeing that and instead start seeing myself, wait a minute, I am one with God. And God is the infinite, instant, and everlasting supply of all my needs. In fact, why don't you take that as an affirmation and affirm it all week and see what comes about in your life? I promise you, you'll see a change. But God is your infinite, instant, and everlasting supply. God is the source of all of your supply. And God is supplying you right here, right now, in this very moment. It doesn't matter how much you need. It doesn't matter what the challenge or the circumstances might appear to be. They're just circumstances. God is on your side. God is for you. But are you consciously aware of that or not? If that is not your conscious, dominant energy, belief, conviction, then it doesn't matter how much you want the abundance or how much you want the results of that. You can't experience them. And you can't experience them because we only manifest who we are. Going back to I am, God can only become to you and I, to all of us, who we are convinced that we are. So whoever we're convinced in our soul that we are, God must then reflect that out to us as our experience to prove to us what we believe. I wanted to give a couple of examples for that, but I think this video is already running too long, so I'm still going to do a third part. I'm going to do another one right back to this, and I'll actually upload it right behind this, so you can listen to it all the way through it and get the idea. The point is, the reason why we must change self first before manifesting is this. We can manifest anything we want without a change of self, absolutely, by repetition. And then we change the thought in the brain. It impresses the subconscious mind that we have what we say we want. And the subconscious mind, who is God, must then push that out because we're convinced in that we have that. But when we get that, whatever that is, let's say we want $10 million, but we've never had $1 million before. And our primary energy is that it's really hard. Certain people have the money, not us, but we're going to get this $10 million. And then we get the $10 million. And a year or two later, we're back to square one, we're broke. And we didn't see it coming. It just happened. And then we wake up and it's like, oh my God, what happened? You've heard of these kind of stories from people winning the lottery. There's no injustice in that. Winning the lottery is fine. We can all win the lottery. The winning the lottery, that's God also. That's a provision of God also. But they don't keep it. Those that don't keep it, they don't keep it because they, in their soul, their consciousness of themselves is not of being a multimillionaire. They might have millions and millions of dollars, but that is not their consciousness of being. Same is true for love. So we might say, oh, I want this romantic relationship. I want this love so much. And I want this person. And we're very specific about the person we want or the kind of relationship that we think we want. And if we continue to insist in the affirmation that we're having this again, God, I am, must push that out to us. And we will have that. That relationship will come. And then once it comes, and as they say, the honeymoon wears off, and then we wake up and we realize, oh dear God, what happened? How did I get into this? Oh God, would you please get me out of this? I mean, it's the worst thing that could have ever happened to me. Or we're trying so hard to work against all the friction. And it's not working because, you see, we're trying to fix the relationship from the outside. We're trying to fix the other person. That can't never work. We have to fix self. So if we want this kind of person, we have to fix self. We have to become what we would like to have in order for there to be a harmonious match. The law says no two walk together unless they be in agreement. It just can't happen. Positive and negative just not ever going to be working harmoniously together, right? So whoever that person is, whatever those qualities are that we want to have in a person, our focus should not be on fixing the other person. It should be on fixing us. And when we fix us by going back and aligning with our divine nature, the true God self of who we are, and we become that, then the other person we're dealing with will mirror that back to us because we are mirrors. And if there's not another person yet, then the source of us, the God aspect of us, will see to it that the person that is an absolute perfect match for us where we are is brought to us. Same principles are true with the money. So when we go back, and rather than obsessing on getting the money, and a lot of times we don't get the money because we're coming at it from a place of lack. We're saying, I don't have it. And if we keep saying we don't have it, then the law must mirror that back to us. God must then push out to us more circumstances for us to realize we don't have the money. But if we're affirming it correctly, and the money does manifest, for us to keep the money, we must then work on the self and change the self to go back to its true divine nature of who it was created to be, that yes, I am abundant. I am abundant with or without this money. The money doesn't make me abundant. In fact, I don't need the money. The money needs me. The money is in need of me, because actually money without you means absolutely nothing. It's just paper. It's currency. It's just currency. It means nothing. The money needs you. You don't need the money because you are abundant. You don't even need money to get things taken care of, because the source has infinite ways of providing for you whatever that is you desire or life requires. It's never about the money. If you want the money, you can have it, but it's never about that. That's not the focus. The focus should be on knowing I am abundant. I am abundant. I am the abundance. I am abundant irrespective of what's going on in the physical world, irrespective of what's in the wallet, the purse, the checking account. I just am abundant because I am one with the source of infinite abundance. So it doesn't matter to me if I'm in the middle of the ocean and I can't get to an ATM. I am still abundant because the source must provide that way for me once I believe that. So this is why I believe and I'm convinced that it is important to go back to changing the self. We only manifest who we are. We can only maintain who we are. That's it. Who we are. And it's who we are, who we're convinced that we are. So if the conviction running deep within us is that we're non-deserving, it doesn't matter how much abundance comes or how wonderful the love is, we're not going to be able to keep it. If we have the fear that we're going to lose it because we don't believe we deserve it, it's guaranteed. And in the next video, I'm going to talk about that specifically from a personal experience. Okay, so I hope that this content brings a blessing to you. I hope that this content provokes you to really stop and look over your life and really start asking yourself, who am I? What is my true concept of self? I've enjoyed bringing this to you. And remember, we're all in this together. There's one God, one source, there's one consciousness, and we're all a part of it. And that consciousness is the thing called life. But that consciousness is love. It is love. It is unconditional, infinite love. And we're all a part of this love. So till next time, one love. Peace.